Mic 1 2. All right. Hey everybody, it's the Welcome Mat here. I'm bringing you guys another Star Wars Imperial Assault skirmish game. Trying something different here. Um, the first couple of videos I've been testing out a different editing software, and I also realized that watching games and recording audio back over old games, it can take a lot of time, and I don't think that's feasible going forward to do all my videos like that. So I've decided if I'm going to be recording myself playing a game, excuse me, my brother-in-law's going crazy upstairs. If I'm going to be recording myself playing a game, though, I'm going to play through the game but log it, and then afterwards I can go back and go through the game quickly while adding commentary. So hopefully these videos can be closer to 30 minutes or less in their length. So without further ado, we're going to give this one a go. So I have only played with Spectre once before this. I just kind of wanted to. I figured one of the best ways to figure out how to beat a list is to start playing that list and just figure out how that list works and what it wants to do and what sorts of options it has, what kind of trouble it presents for other lists that will face it. So I figured I probably need to start playing some more with Spectre to understand Spectre. And so I was running Spectre Cell, kind of a defensive Spectre Cell with heroic effort, of course, and extra armor was my 1 point upgrade. Um, Most people kind of argue that right now the best upgrade for Spectre is motivation, maybe doubt and channel the force, and extra armor. Extra armor is still a solid choice, I think, but it is tough when you're facing other Pierce squads. But it's really good versus Scum, which uh, if you were looking at French Nationals, Scum did very well, and Han Rangers ended up winning the whole thing. So those extra blocks can actually be pretty meaningful. Um, So anyways, I'm not going to get into argument about that, but I'm playing John T. He's running kind of a janky list here with IG-88, Shyla with Prey on the Weak, a Jawa, C-3PO, Jarrod, Gideon, and Greedo. So the accuracy doesn't do anything for Shyla, but the Pierce does. I've never seen Prey on the Weak on Shyla. Shyla is interesting. I think she's still a solid figure, but I don't think she fits in the current meta. Um, she needs a little bit more health. It's so easy to get extra surges nowadays against a lot of figures, especially with against Spectre Cell. Ezra can just tear through Shyla. He's not as worried about. Now the evade is still useful. I'm not saying it's completely meaningless, but it doesn't have the value that it did when Jabba's Realm came out. But I digress. So John ended up getting initiative, so he's going to take bottom here. So we'll go through his deployment here. I think maybe the best way to do this is move this down here. And we were playing the Lost and Found mission. Doors are locked. End of each round start with the player without initiative. Each player opens one door. For each stash he controls, each player gains 2 VPs. So he moved out. Jax is a little droid. I think Shyla is, or that's Greedo underneath him. Gideon comes out. 3PO, Shyla, IG-88. So then I went ahead and deployed my Spectre team. I gave Ezra and Kanan 1 block. I gave Kanan 2, and then I gave 1 to Zeb. I kind of wish I'd given 1 to Chopper, but then with Hera's movement, I bumped those guys up 1 space. So we drew our opening hands. Let's see if I can show you my cards here in a second. So I drew Pummel, Dying Lunge, and Brace for Impact as my opening hand. So pretty good opening hand, especially since I was going to get initiative, so I would be able to do the Ezra Pummel combo potentially for round 2. So he starts by focusing up Shyla and moving up 3PO. I moved up Ezra. Well, he went ahead and he forgot to ask me if I had started a round. So I was like, oh, I had to start a round. So I went ahead and moved up Ezra 4. No big deal. So 3PO goes. I moved up Hera to put her in a spot so that she could give some call the shots if I was able to get some shots later in the round. And to at least hold those 2 points for me. He uses Gideon to focus up Jarrod. And he moves Shyla up too. I just double move Zeb here and put him right there. I was kind of using Zeb as bait here to see if I could lure out his IG-88 towards the end of the round. I'll just go ahead and say, if you're a Spectre player, I'd love to hear your comments, your thoughts on how I could have played better. I know there's a few errors I made, but would love to learn the list a little bit better. So he goes with Jarrod, double moves Jax to get him in position. Jarrod double moves and chills next to the terminal. So he's playing very, very aggressively here. I do think this was a mistake, not only because I was getting the initiative swing, but against Spectre Cell, either one of those doors comes open and Ezra can move 4 spaces. And so, depending on where I put my Ezra, I could easily move him right next to Jarrod and get off 1 or 2 attacks and take out Jarrod before he can activate. So that would be a wasted focus. My brother-in-law is going crazy upstairs playing Fortnite. So one other thing too here, I would say, I think you always focus up Greedo early on. I think Greedo, if you're going to be aggressive, it needs to be with Greedo. If you're going to be that aggressive with your melee and you're not getting initiative, then you really better have some good cards like Dying Lunge and stuff. So I went ahead and moved up my Sabine over here next to Ezra and Hera. So I was playing her pretty cautious, and I put her there because I knew I could potentially tap her with Spectre to let her get off an attack, and with Hera nearby, she could get some extra range. So he moves up his Greedo. A lot of times you'll see Greedo double move at the end of this, at the end of the round on this map, on this mission in particular, because he'll often want to take this double stash. We call it the Rhodian Lounge area, because Greedo, Higher Guns, and Vento can easily double move, at least from the bottom deployment zone, and get to control both of these spots for 4 victory points at the end of a round. So Greedo loves that spot, but he only moved up Greedo here, and Greedo was not focused. So I moved Kanan right here, the thought being I want him to be available to go either way. And I knew I was going to at least have Chopper by my terminal, but I hadn't gone with Ezra yet, so I could move Ezra over and have Ezra close to give him defensive rerolls and to turn a die with his force ability. Since Jarrod was already there, I knew that was a strong option, but I wanted to also see what he was going to do with Shyla. And he ends up moving his Jawa. He played Planning here. Planning comes out, so he draws 2. So he moves his Jawa to get him in position, but doesn't take a terminal. So I moved up Chopper because he I knew he wasn't going to want to put a Shyla down there, or IG. So I just was like, okay, I'll just go ahead and go with Chopper and just move him up. So I moved Chopper in such a way that he could get my terminal, but also threaten a ram and an attack on Jarrod for the next round. And with Kanan nearby, I figured there was a good chance that Chopper could survive his attack if things went sour for some reason. So, and at this point, he plays really aggressively. He double moves his Shyla up next to Jarrod, which plays in perfectly to what I can do here with Ezra. So I just move Ezra over, and I put him in a very particular spot because I put him. I think I ended up sticking with there because I knew from that spot that Ezra could either move 1, 2, 3, 4 next to Shyla at start of round and then pummel her, or he could move 1, 2, 3 and then pummel Jarrod. So and the reason I knew I would be, or I could pummel from the other door. And the reason I knew that was because I still had Spectre Cell. I hadn't tapped it yet. So I could have moved out Sabine, but I figured with IG having not gone yet, that would have been extremely risky because IG could move up, get one attack off, and then if he had Blaze, move up again and get off another 2 attacks. And if he had any cards, he may not even need the cards. He could easily take out Sabine, and she's not getting a reroll because she's not by Kanan. So that was too risky. It made more sense for me to just move Chopper, I thought, so that I could have the options with Ezra that either door that comes open, he can threaten pummel on Shyla, assuming I'm able to keep initiative. So I moved Chopper back because I knew if I moved him back, I could still move up 2 to ram either one of them. So he still had a lot of options there. So he moves up his IG. Instead of moving up for a shot, a long distance shot, he just is content to put him there in the Rodian Lounge and take the VP. So I get 4 VPs at the end of the round, and John takes 8. I was able to draw Force Push and Strength in Numbers, which are amazing cards. Force Push I didn't need as much here, but it gave me options with IG around. But having Strength in Numbers was huge. What did John take with Black Market? I can't remember. See if he shows it up here. Oh, we had to do mission effects first. So, primary target is what he took with Black Market. So when the doors came out, I ended up opening the door by my terminal. And the reason I did that was because, well, actually, I'm not really sure which was the better option here. Kanan couldn't threaten Jarrod from where he was here. I mean, I guess I could have used Force Push, but I wanted to keep Kanan around Chopper for rerolls in case he came up with Greedo. But I knew that if I was able to keep initiative, killing both of these, Shyla and Jarrod, would be a pretty big swing, and losing both of his focuses, honestly, probably would be game. Even if I lost Kanan and Ezra to IG, I think Zeb and Sabine and Hera could easily clean up. So that was kind of my thought here, was I was willing to lose them to take out his folks, and that would win me the game in the long run. So he put a damage on the Jawa, and he paid a point to take primary target. So initiative passes. First, I have to go with my Ezra to brash him. So I brashed him up to this spot. Um, yeah, with the movement that with Jarrod and Shyla that they have, I knew that it was worth the risk to move him up. Um, so I went ahead and moved him up. So thankfully for me, John did not have to take initiative. If he did, this may have been a different game. So I went with Ezra first, and I pummeled. So I was able to roll decently here. I think I turned my yellow die side to the double surge. So Shyla's evade here actually. I was able to mitigate that because of Ezra's ability to turn his die. So the one surge became 1 damage and 2 surges. So I still had a surge for +2 and Pierce 3. So anyways, I was able to end up putting through 6 on a Shyla, and then I did a second attack, and I max roll here, and he low rolls, which it wouldn't have mattered. I would have pierced through it anyways. So Shyla was dead. Shyla has 12 health. I only need to do 6. This roll ended up doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So actually, it was just enough. Yeah, actually, it was really close. It was just enough damage to take out Shyla. So I got a little lucky on the rolls there. My thought there, though, going for Shyla was that with strength in numbers, I would be able to tap Chopper, and I could get off another attack to take her out. So I went big for the money, and it ended up working out really well for me. I just got really good rolls there. So I actually should have had one more point. I didn't realize. I think when I was pulling up his list, I for some reason thought I saw another upgrade, not prayer on the week, but I completely forgot she had an attachment, so I should have had 13 points there. So I did make a mistake here. I tapped Spectre Cell now and moved up Kanan to attack Jarrod. This was a mistake. What I should have done is play Strength in Numbers and then go with Chopper and then go with Ezra via the tap, because Ezra's die with the turning aside are just more consistent than Kanan's attack. So this was a rookie Spectre Cell player mistake. And I actually got a pretty decent Kanan roll. I'm able to pierce through 3, but it only does 4 damage. So Jarrod lives. So I play Strength in Numbers. Chopper moves up, and first he rams, and basically it's a dodge. 1 out of 6 chance, so he rolls the 1 surge for no damage, and it actually will matter here because he kind of had given up hope here. I was like, dude, just roll, because if you roll 3, he lives. He rolled another 3, so we both kind of had hot dice early on, for sure. So Jarrod's able to live here. And because I've already tapped Spectre Cell, I have no way of finishing him off. So there goes my big mistake with Spectre right there. He moved up with his droid Jax, and I don't know if you saw there, but Jax did no damage. He has an auto Pierce 1, but you can see right here. He has a Pierce 1 and a Surge for +1. But with my Pierce 1, the 2 was able to block the 2. So now Jarrod attacks focused, and Jarrod also max rolls, so some hot dice early on this game. And that is way more than enough damage to finish off Chopper. So I tried to reroll with Kanan. If I had got the 3 block, he would have had +2 Pierce 2. So I would have still been able to block 2. So I think I actually was dead either way, but I just went ahead and re-rolled because I hadn't done the math yet. I did Dying Lunge just because I was annoyed that I had messed up there, and so I was like, I want to kill Jarrod. And I didn't want him to run away with Jarrod. He still had 5 movement points, so he could have moved. He actually had moved Jarrod 1 space. I don't know why he moved him. I didn't realize that. But he basically, if he played it correctly, he could have moved Jarrod to the spot next to Greedo, and then Jarrod would have been safe, and that would have been really annoying to deal with. So that's the other reason why I just went ahead and Dying Lunged. So another max roll comes out, and Jarrod also bites the dust. And this, even though I didn't play it properly, this was still a favorable trade for me. So, and that was all Jarrod's turn. So now I decided to go with Hera and just take a pot shot on IG. No cards. Oh yeah, when Chopper died, I replaced Brace for Impact with Officer's Training. I had actually meant to play Brace for Impact when Chopper got attacked the first time, but I forgot about it. And then I realized it like after we'd already started rolling dice, so that was a big bummer. Another 3 block comes out. So I played Officer's Training here. I was missing range, and was able to draw another card and re-roll. I re-rolled the yellow die because it has just as much chance for me to get range as the blue does here. I needed 5 range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was 1 short, and 4 out of the 6 sides on the blue and the yellow die would have given me what I needed. But on the yellow die, there would have been other sides that would have given me more. So I was just playing for that. And I was able to get the 2. So I do make range. I drew Urgency with my Officer's Training, and I'm able to put through with the Pierce just a measly 1 damage on IG. And I move Hera back to safety to save her for Call the Shots. He goes with IG, moves up to Toxic Darts, Ezra here, which was a nice play. I made a mistake here with Ezra. I took the Dart Strain as damage because I didn't have On the Lamb yet. I think this probably was a mistake. Then I decided to take the Strain as a card, and Second Chance comes out, which is a bummer. On his first attack, I blank. He rolls. I went ahead and spent my block token. He almost max rolls. Forgot to have my blocks till then, so I took 5 damage here. I re-rolled into a blank. And on the second attack, I took the Strain as a card again. Planning comes out, which I'm much more okay with than Second Chance. He kind of low rolls this one, but because I'm weakened, I lose my evade, which is crucial. So I'm actually only rolling 3 blocks here, and he has exactly 4 damage going through. And so if I had taken that first strain from Toxic Dart as a card, Ezra would have lived here, but instead he dies. So a few mistakes that I made. But Ezra has killed Shyla, so he's made up his points. Sabine goes, takes a shot on IG within range of Hera for call the shots. Gets a pretty good roll, just one side less from max. I believe I used call the shots here to add another damage, because the damage wouldn't have mattered. I can search. The Pierce 2 Surge is better. If I given her a Surge, it wouldn't have really mattered. Either way, the damage or the Surge would have given her one more extra damage. So, I figure moving Sabine to safety is better choice here. So I move her down 1 instead of trying to move up and get off a grenade. So she put through 5 on that attack. And now if he goes after Sabine at this point, I'm okay with it, because now he's in range of Zeb and I have urgency. Kanan has force push, so he can still move to get in range of an IG attack if he goes here and he tries to double shoot stuff. So that's why I felt good about that. I was like, either way, I feel like I can make him. So he plays Blaze and goes with IG again. Stealth Tactics comes out. This time I did take the strain. I spin a block token. And look at the rolls this game, guys and ladies. Another max roll and another 3 block. I don't know how many 3 blocks I spend this game. Heightened Reflexes comes out. And so he takes away my die and puts in a massive 7 damage. Take another strain. On the Lamb goes, which still would have been nice to have for Hera, but it's much more valuable with Ezra. So I wasn't like super bummed to see it go. And another max roll. And I rolled poorly. I actually kept this evade because I only had a 50% chance, or there was how should I put it this way? There was a 1 in 3 chance that I would have rolled worse if I had rolled one of the 2 1-block sides. If I had rolled the 2-block, or the 3-block, or an evade again, I would have kept the same. So there was only one side that was better, so it just made sense to keep it. And I figure if he had tough luck, he would have played it. He doesn't have Assassinate, which also would have finished off Kanan, because Kanan's got 14 health. So I was okay with making him play it there if he had it. But Kanan surviving here is a bit big for sure. So I went ahead and go with Kanan, and I force pushed IG. My thought behind moving IG next to the terminal was to block line of sight from Greedo. And I didn't realize this at first, but Greedo still could have moved up and got a shot on Kanan. And I'll show you guys in a minute here. So Kanan gets a shot on IG just to weaken him, and a pretty good roll. So 6 damage gets through, which is exactly what I needed, because IG had played Blaze of Glory. So he's taken 3 end of round. So now I know IG's dead. I don't have to worry about him anymore. 3PO moves up to focus Greedo, and then takes the stash. And this is where he made a mistake with Greedo. He should have moved Gideon up and moved Greedo 2. If he had moved Greedo 2 to this spot right here, Then he could have gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the terminal and shot at Kanan without Kanan slowing the draw triggering. And with a focus Greedo, he had a pretty good shot of putting through the 3 damage he needed to, or the 2 damage. That's all I needed to kill Kanan. So, but he doesn't see that play, or he thinks it's better to focus the Jawa. So, so Greedo instead just chills, which I'm okay with. If Greedo's going and he's not shooting, I'm totally fine with that. So I played Urgency here with Zeb, so that I could contest the spot and then try to get a shot on the Jawa. And I knew if I got a good enough roll, I could potentially, like if I rolled all damage sides, I could easily finish off the Jawa before he goes. So, but I low rolled, so after all these hot rolls, it would have mattered anyways because the first dodge of the game comes out. So he comes up and shoots back at Zeb, and he's able to put through 2 damage on Zeb. And then he goes to take his terminal for a card. Then he moved up Gideon to focus the Jawa. So end of round, we get our points. I got 6 points, and he got 4. Both the doors opened up. IG died from his Blaze of Glory, which moved me up to 35. Urgency came out for him with his Black Market, and he had initiative. And at this point, I think it was John went ahead and called the game. So so that was it. Final score 35-21. Spectre Cell is it's very strong list. I'm curious to see how meaningful those results from French Nationals are. Because in the U.S., Spectre Cell has been doing really strong. I do think there's hope, especially IG, if he can get a good Blaze of Glory with the right cards swing, then he can still beat Spectre Cell. But yeah, like if you take out 2 of the members of Spectre, or even 3 sometimes, it can still, a lot of lists have to pump out a bunch of cards to even kill them. So then you've got other figures coming in that don't even need cards, who can just wreck you because of their solid stat line. So yeah. Let me know any comments, thoughts you guys have below. And I'll look forward to posting more Imperial Assault content again pretty soon in the future. So this is the Welcome Mat, signing out.